How to raise funds for a business. Do you have a business but you need more funding to get it to the next level, or you need funding to really get it started?
Noel. Yeah, she can fix that. If you gotta get it done, or you need to do it better, well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
In this episode, I'm going to share with you a simple 3-step process to raising funds for any business. I'm going to share with you a big secret on how you can raise up to $5 million per year. And I'm going to share with you a super secret trick on how to keep your investors happy and not cause a lot of issues for yourself. So the first thing that you need to do before you ever start raising funds for your business is make a decision. What exactly are you raising funds for? So many people will come to me, Noel, I want $250,000 for my business, or could you give me $1 million for my business? And literally all they have is an idea. You need to actually identify what it is that you are going to be using the funds for, and exactly where you're going to spend the money and how much you're going to spend on each thing. You can't just have some random or some non-specific thing that you're raising funds for. You literally need to create the business entity. If you need help with that, I have an entire playlist on YouTube that teaches you exactly how to set your business up. Make sure you watch that playlist so that you actually have a business that is registered with the Secretary of State, and it's a business that people can find on a website. You don't actually have to have made revenue in order to start raising funds, but you do need to know what it is that you are going to do with those funds. So let's talk about that first. One of the first things that you have to do is invest in the business yourself. Like I said, you need to set the business up so that people are actually investing in a business and not a business idea. If you set the business up, then you could identify what you are raising money for, which probably is going to be around marketing. Maybe you are going to identify that you are going to do these certain marketing techniques, like you're going to run ads, or you're going to get a billboard, or you're going to get inventory, or you're going to get, market your business through influencers. However you're going to market your business to get more customers is probably going to be the best use of your funds. When you're going to investors, they're going to want to see what it is that you're doing with the money that can actually make them money. So if you have an idea around your marketing, that is probably the easiest and best way to explain to an investor what you're going to do with that money, and they can easily understand how that is going to end up with a return. So if you say, I'm going to run ads and we're going to spend $10,000 per month on television ads or radio ads or whatever it is that you're going to do, you can quickly explain that the average return on ad spend is $4 for each dollar spent. That way they understand that this is going to an advertising agency. These are the type of ads that we're going to be running. This is the amount of customers that we are going to be able to get. And this is how much money each customer makes me. That's probably the simplest and easiest way to explain to investors what you're going to do with the money. And it's what most people should do with their money in order to create more money. But let's talk about some other quick things that you can do to start raising funds. Before you start raising funds, you can create something that is called a pitch deck. So if you don't actually have a business that is up and running, but you have that business identified, you've already made the website, you actually have the business registered, you can put together what's called a pitch deck. Inside this pitch deck, you will talk about what the business purpose is, how long the business has been around, and what the goals for the business are. You can put some colorful graphics in there, and in fact, you can actually have someone make a pitch deck for you using sites like Fiverr or Upwork. Many of us are not graphic designers, but you do need to identify the 5 W's of your business, give those to someone, and they can make a pitch deck for you, which is basically a PowerPoint that explains the business, explains what the business does, and explains how much money you want to raise and how much money you want to raise from each investor. I will get to that in just a second because this is a very important part of your pitch deck. But let's just talk about the 5 W's. The 5 W's are what, who, when, where, and why. You will answer all 5 of those W's inside of your pitch deck. Who you are, what the business does, where you're going to locate the business, when the business was established, and what some of the timelines are for your business, and of course, the why behind your business. This is where you'll tell your core story. What are some of the things that inspired you in your business? What's your mission statement, and things of that nature. It is very simple if you just identify those 5 things to give it to someone that is a graphic designer to create the pitch deck for you. Now, let's talk about the section where you'll raise money from investors, where you will give them a specific amount that you're raising and a specific amount that you're raising from each investor. In order to effectively raise money from investors, I have found that the easiest thing to do is ask for a specific amount. My mentor taught me if you want to make $1 million, the easiest way to do it is ask for it. Most of us just don't ask for what we're wanting, so that is why we never get it. But this is a very important part of your pitch deck. So if you are raising money from investors, maybe it's accredited investors or unaccredited investors, maybe it's your friends, your family, coworkers, you literally can raise money from people without having to get the business registered with the SEC and things like that if you stay below 35 investors. So if you are looking for a specific amount, maybe it's $250,000, maybe you want 10 people to give you $25,000. The best way to do that is to specifically state that. Don't just say, I'm raising money for my business, or I'm trying to raise like $250,000 or about $250,000. Get really specific and say the total amount that you're raising, the total amount that they need to give you, and the total amount of investors that you're looking for. This will help you identify who you're looking for, and you will be able to track who you have raised money from, and it won't overcomplicate the situation by some people giving you $1,000, some people giving you $18,000, someone giving you $700. Again, if you're very specific, you will be able to raise that money much faster and much more effectively. And then last but not least, talk about how the investors are going to be repaid. This is the thing that most people want to do. They want to know, how am I going to get my money back, and when should I expect my money back? Most people understand that new businesses will take time to get started, whether you're raising money for a real estate deal or whether you're raising money for a hair salon. You're still going to need time to get the business going before you can get profitable. Many businesses will make money, and that is revenue, but that does not necessarily mean that that is profits. So be very clear with your investors, like, I'm going to do a period of 2 years, and I'm going to need 2 years before I start repaying you, and then I will do annual distributions. That is one simple way to do it. When I started raising money, some of the mistakes that I made is offering maybe quarterly distributions when I was not fully aware on how long it would take for the business to become profitable. I strongly suggest just saying that you're going to do annual distributions and creating a time period where they know that you won't be doing distributions. So maybe it's 1 year, 18 months, or 2 years, so that everyone is aware and they're fully on board with you and your business, and you can give them updates along the way as the business is progressing. Another amazing way that you can raise money is through crowdfunding. Crowdfunding actually came about around 2012 when Barack Obama signed in the Jobs Act, which stands for Jumpstart Our Businesses and Startups. This opened up the door where you could raise money unlimited from unaccredited investors, but you do have to get that business registered with the Secretary of State, for example, and you do have to go through the SEC, which stands for Security and Exchange Commission. One of the reasons I love talking about crowdfunding is because it is so underutilized. Like I said, most people did not even know that it existed until, a few years ago. But again, this was a very new concept, and most people had no opportunity to ever raise money or invest in startups to help other people's businesses. I have been able to help entrepreneurs raise money through crowdfunding, and I myself have done a crowdfunding. When this first came out in 2012, like I said, it was through the Jobs Act by Barack Obama, but when Donald Trump was the president, he actually raised the amount that you could raise per year. When it first came out in 2012, the maximum was $1,070,000 per year from unaccredited investors. Well, now it's $5 million per year from unaccredited investors, but the sad part about it is most people still are not doing this. This is a great opportunity if you're an entrepreneur to raise millions of dollars from your business, and you can advertise that you're raising money on your social media. You can tell your friends, your family. You can even have influencers help you raise money for your business. So many people are not taking advantage of crowdfunding, and I strongly suggest you start learning about it. In fact, I have a whole video on this on YouTube that you can watch where I teach you how to get your own crowdfunding going. This is something that I think every entrepreneur should take advantage of at least one time. Again, it's $5 million per year, guys. You can go to noellerandall.com/invest and learn all about different investment opportunities, and you can even learn how to start a crowdfunding yourself. I literally coach and mentor students on how to do this, and I want more entrepreneurs to take advantage of this. Go check out my website, noellerandall.com/invest, to learn more about crowdfunding opportunities and how you could invest in them, or how you could even get your own crowdfund. Literally, I want you to take yourself to the next level, and this is something that most people just do not do. Again, that's Noelle Randall, Noelle Randall, RANDALL.com/invest, INVEST. Go there right now and check it out so that you can have all of the resources, all of the tools, and all of the knowledge that you need to be successful. This is Noelle, to your success.